All right, it is Wednesday, February 5th, 2020. I'm Scott L. Miller. This is Sheep Guarding Llama, and let's do the daily vlog. So, today, crazy cold. We had some really nice weather the last couple days, and I mean, to the point where it was just, sunny. We were outside, no jackets. It was gorgeous. And then today happened. Today, really, really cold, worried about the pipes freezing. We weren't quite like panicking, just, hey, we actually have to think about it, right? It was cold enough. And it's February. Like, it's really cold, quite a snap. Cold day. This morning, Paul found a house that he thought looked really, really interesting, mostly because it kind of met a lot of checkbox, but it's nearby in Carrollton, which we haven't really thought that Carrollton would in any way be an option, and we love the city of Carrollton. So we reached out to our real estate agent, Rachel, and said we'd kind of like to go see this, and throughout the day we're able to actually schedule to go see it tonight. So today is our chance to go see a house. We'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting. Paul and Dominica had a lot of shopping to do. It was like groceries day and stuff, so they're out doing that. I had just a regular, really busy day here. Early this afternoon, I had to take Rachel over to our mechanic because the power steering has gone on her car, which is always fun. So we took it over there and dropped it off. She can't drive it, so I had to go up. At first, Paul went over and looked at it and said, yeah, it's power steering, then sent me over to drive it. So I drove it over to the mechanics and dropped it off. She can get the quote till the end of the day, $1,900, which the car was only $3,500 when she bought it, and she's had it for a while. And I'm not sure $3,500 was a great deal. So $1,900 to get it fixed, just to fix the steering, is a pretty big deal. So we'll see what happens there. But that was a bit this afternoon. Then let's see. I had to work like crazy because I had to be able to leave. Took off at 5 o'clock. So about 4 to 5, everybody's running around the house trying to get ready so we could leave. Just after 5, we packed everyone in the van and ran over to pick up Rachel because obviously she has no car. And then drove 10 minutes away in Carrollton to check out the house. So this is the very first house that we have looked at since the house I'm in now, since we purchased this one before Luciana was born. So this was in 2010, I believe. We were looking at this house. It may have been 2011. I really can't remember at this point. I've lost all sense of time. But we definitely had it by 2011. But this is the house that we came into. We had been looking at houses with Liesel when she was just tiny, and she came into this house and she knew this was our house, and she ran straight from the door into the very first bedroom, found this stuffed animal, and just fell in love with the house. And it's been our house ever since, and we've always referred to that one as her room, even though it's now Paul's room, but that was Liesel's room for the majority of the time. And so we've never looked at houses since then. For obvious reasons, why would we look at houses? But we've talked with the kids about looking for a house, and Liesel's kind of okay with it, and Luciana's pretty upset about it. And a while ago we talked to her, she was upset, then we convinced her why it'd be good, and then we didn't end up getting a house, and then she was upset, and then she's kind of stuck on this one, and she has a really hard time with the emotional attachment to the house, and that's pretty rough. But we're hoping as we look at houses that she'll start to get excited about the possibility of a new house and her own room and more space and cool neighborhoods and stuff. So this was a first opportunity, and she wasn't too happy going into it, but we got to the neighborhood. Luckily it wasn't far away, so that helps. That, like, well, how far are my friends? Right around the corner. Okay, that's not so bad. I know this area, it's not crazy. And we pulled into the neighborhood, I think it's called Creekside, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful houses, beautiful mature trees. Of course, this is Carrollton, so trees tend to be more mature. Wound through, and the house we looked at was at the very end of the very last cul-de-sac. It was the farthest point. It got to a point where the houses were pretty spaced out. It was definitely one of the earlier ones built. But about 3,500 square feet. I think it was a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, no half baths, and 2.5-car garage, upstairs media room, second living room, a sitting room, so the outdoor space we knew was going to be gorgeous. So we pulled up and parked on this cul-de-sac, and before we went in, it was a cold drizzle because everything was cold. And Luciano and I went for a walk while they were trying to get the keys and stuff. And we just walked around the cul-de-sac, and there's a beautiful little tiny stream, but it was the perfect cold drizzle with the clouds and this beautiful little stream coming through the trees, and it was just like a magical little spot, and it would be so nice to like have that be right out your front door. So Luciano and I just walked hand in hand around the cul-de-sac and talked a little bit about a house and what it would mean, and things that would be nice. And I think that helped quite a bit. It got her into that mood of understanding a little bit and feeling like she was part of the process and that her input was valued. And then we got to go into the house, and both girls, I mean, everybody loved the house, right? Although when we started, part of it is like, wow, we could have a nice new house like this, in theory, right? If there's more money. And went into the house, and we're really wowed by a lot of things. I mean, it was clean, it was well presented, it was a really nice house. The location really did it for us, right? Just pulling up in that cul-de-sac, you're like, wow, this would be so nice. And but like the front sitting room was really small and useless. It was completely wasted space. And there was a front mudroom, again, wasted space. There was a really large dining room that was like open in a really weird formal way in the middle of the house. Neat, but wasted space. And the living room was too small, so it was like comfy, but you pretty much were forced to put your furniture against the windows, which drives me bananas. The kitchen was just about perfect. The pantry was perfect. The eat-in kitchen portion was really nice. It had a great master, had a great master bath. Master closet was great. Had a really amazing office with double French doors opening onto the driveway, so it had its own entrance and great light, and was really designed to be a professional office. That part would have been just made me so happy. And there's enough room for everybody, but there isn't a dual master, so Paul, we would have had to like convert things. Nothing really special upstairs. Didn't really like the bathroom layouts. I hate Jack and Jill's. The backyard, though, we step out into the backyard, and it's not big, but it was perfect. It had a beautiful swimming pool that was small and easy to maintain, a gorgeous hot tub with fountain in the middle of it, which we hadn't seen before, but now we've seen several of them in things we've looked at. All the landscaping was absolutely professional and gorgeous, all mulch, there was no grass, and then there was an outdoor grilling and entertaining area with a big outdoor structure and built-in stone work and a built-in giant grill and all this really nice stuff. It was pretty much the perfect backyard for us, and bits of the house were really nice, but overall it didn't have the space we need, and it didn't have the layout that we need. And the big killer, besides the fact that we can't afford it right now, is that it was directly against the Louisville Hebron Stadium. And so like on the day we were there, it's just an annoying view out the back window, but if you were there on like a Friday night, you probably wouldn't be able to talk because the entire bleachers and the announcing stand are all direct open air straight at the windows of the house. It would be so obnoxious to try to use that place on a weekend anytime during the year. So that automatically ruled it out. It was actually nice that it was such a definitive, there's no way we could use this house, but we learned a lot of things that we liked while looking at the house. And the girls were really excited. They just ran around the house like, imagine what we could do with this, imagine what we could do with that. And that's kind of the excitement we need. We need them to have that input of, this is what we like, this is our opinions on it. We understand that this isn't the right house because maybe another house we would have bigger rooms, or we wouldn't have to share a bathroom or something like that. But they found like a built-in, I forget what it was called. It's like a teenager lounge or something. One of the bedrooms was a little bit bigger, had a raised spot built in for a bed with storage underneath it with like real drawers. And then the main part of the room was actually turned into a lounge with a couch and a TV. It was a little bit like a hotel suite, like a Home 2 by Hilton or whatever, where you have a little sleeping area, kind of a divider, kind of informally, and then a little living room space, and then a walk-in closet. Like it would have worked as a little suite. Either one of the girls would have really liked it, but they would have been fighting over it, and really Paul wanted it. And so what we need is a dual master, and then we need, if we're going to do something like that for the girls, they need to each have one, right? But it was a good start. It gave us a lot of good insight, and it was fun to get to go look at a house. We haven't looked at them in a long time, and each time you look at a house, generally you get to look at bigger ones. So now but we really told us, right, 3,500 square feet we could make do, 4,000 square feet is what we need. So hoping to find that, but we don't need to be in Carrollton. We just have to be in a spot that has good internet. That's one of the things driving us to Carrollton. Carrollton has amazing internet, and some places that we think look really nice, like Aubrey, really struggle with internet. So until we have SpaceX, we're really bound by where Frontier has run FiOS lines, more or less. So that's a really huge factor for us, because we all work from home. We can't risk having slow or problematic internet. And really being in a spot that only has one good provider is a little bit scary. We really should be in a spot that has two, so we have at least some amount of protection. Not that we would get two, but it's kind of nice to have the option at the very least. So, and as things grow, having two all the time is not out of the question. There are pretty good justifications for it, especially if the second one's like a really cheap service that's, slower or whatever. So we did that. That took a while, obviously, because we had to pack everyone up and drive and do all the stuff. So we came back home, dropped off Paul and the kids, and Dominica, Rachel, and I were about to go out to dinner. We just started to pull out of our neighborhood when Paul called us and said that the dog had gotten into medicine. We turned around, raced back to the house, tracked down the medicine she had gotten it into, searched the house, discovered that she had... So first of all, gotten into Mucinex DM. We don't know how much. We know she sucked down one pill, like literally sucked it in her mouth and spit it out. So she got a bunch of it. We're pretty sure that's all she got, but we couldn't absolutely prove it. So we had to call the animal poison control hotline. First, I called Alan, and we got Lone Peak Veterinarian in Salt Lake City. They said they couldn't find enough information to definitively know how bad it was. They said to call the ASPCA poison control line. So we did that, paid our $60, talked to them, and figured out that we were pretty safe and just needed to watch for vomiting, which she never did, and she didn't act funny, so we're pretty sure she didn't get much of anything. And the stuff she got into is cough suppressant, and all the drugs that were in it are things that are given to dogs sometimes. So, probably all fine, but that was not ideal in any way. So we then searched the house, discovered that the blinds in our bedroom were destroyed. They're wooden slat blinds, and she actually tore them, splitting the wood in half. Like, they're just destroyed. And we have a insulating blinds at the front door that she tore. She ripped open stuff all over the house. It's quite a mess. She clearly had an anxiety attack while we were gone, and we really weren't gone that long. It was a pretty big deal. So we're really torn on what we can do with this dog. She's a major problem. So once we made sure she was safe and everything, we left Paul and the kids at home, and Dominica, Rachel, and I piled into the van, and we ran up to Fuzzy Taco, got dinner, which we never get to do together, so we had a nice time hanging out, and did a lot of planning for Rachel's birthday, which is coming up very soon. Her birthday party is actually coming up on the 22nd, even though her birthday is the 23rd. And I got 2 of the veggie tacos, which I absolutely love, and 1 breakfast taco. Not the order you would expect from me. You would expect me to get fish tacos at Fuzzy's, because they make great fish tacos that I really like, but I'm actually really addicted to their grilled and marinated vegetables. That's my favorite thing. But I like to get the breakfast for a little bit of the extra protein, and I add the habanero sauce, and it's pretty good. Dominica got a mahi-mahi. Rachel actually got a brisket quesadilla. Crazy for her, not the thing she normally gets. And the first quesadilla she has gotten since she had the one in San Juan del Sur that she dropped on the ground and ate anyway, which I love to remind her of. So I had a really nice dinner there. It was nice that we got to hang out, and then we swung into Taco Bell to pick up food for the girls, because Luciana, of course, wants the nacho fries, which came out today, and Liesl wants her cheesy bean and rice burritos, and we got that, came home, and then I played Labyrinth of Lies, the new Nancy Drew adventure that we're starting tonight with the girls. That was our evening. We didn't get a lot of time to do it because it was such a busy evening, but we did get to play for maybe 2 hours, and made it a little way into it, and it's looking pretty good. We're playing the later one, so they have some of the best graphics and whatnot in there. But so that was our evening, and pretty much after that it was off to bed. And so at the end of the day, we'll see you all tomorrow.